Hello YouTubers and Marvel superhero fans, and welcome to my first The Avengers movie action figure review. Now today I'm going to be bringing you a review of one of the figures which is from the 3 or 4 inch action figure line, and it is going to be a review of one of the figures from the concept series of the assortment, and as you can see it is the Sword Spike Thor figure, which comes with a hammer accessory and also a gun accessory. Now I got this figure yesterday from my local entertainer store for £9. I was really happy to see this figure in there. While I was in there I also got the Mighty Battlers Hulk figure and also the 10 inch Gamma Strike Hulk figure. I will also be reviewing those at some point very soon. I believe this particular variant of Thor is actually a re-release of the Hammer Strike Thor figure, which is from the Mighty Avenger movie action figure line, but this particular version of the figure has some slightly different things about the paintwork and also less articulation, but it is made from exactly the same sculpt. Okay, so before we take a closer look at this awesome figure and its awesome accessories, we're going to take a quick look at the packaging. Okay, so if we take a look at the front, we can see the figure in a clear plastic bubble with its accessories. At the top you've got a picture of Iron Man, Thor, Hulk and also Captain America. You've also got the Avengers logo next to that as well. Also at the bottom of the front we can see a picture of the figure with its gun or sword accessory, then the name of the figure and also the Hasbro logo. Also tells you what series it's from. Then on the back we can see a large picture of this particular figure, actually without the crown though for some reason. Then you've also got pictures of Hawkeye, Iron Man and also one of the Captain America figures from the comic series. Then you've got the usual product company information at the bottom. Okay, so here we have the Sword Spike Thor figure. Now, even though this is actually a figure from the concept series, I do believe this is actually based upon how we did see Thor around the start of the Mighty Avenger movie, when he was about to be crowned as king by his father Odin. This figure is around 3 or 4 inches tall, meaning it is in good scale with many other Marvel Universe figures and also all of the Mighty Avenger movie 3 or 4 inch action figures. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the detailed paint and sculpting of this awesome figure. Okay, so let's begin by taking a look at the head sculpt. It's got a really good likeness of Chris Hemsworth. If we take a look at the facial features up close, we can see that they've all been painted really nicely, especially the eyes, which have been done with a bit of light blue, black and also white. Also underneath his eyes and nose we can see his light blonde beard, which is quite easy to see up close but not quite as easy to see from a distance away. Also on the side of his head we can see his light blonde hair. You can also see it from the back as well. He's also wearing his helmet or crown, which we saw him wearing around the start of the Mighty Avenger movie. Looks really nice up close. It's got some great detail like the wings or feathers on the sides and also the lines going all over the back and also on the sides. I don't think the helmet on this particular variant could have been a bit better with more of a metallic silver colour to make it look a bit more lifelike and also a bit more accurate, but it's still a really nice feature of the figure. It is in fact one of the reasons why I did actually decide to get this figure, because here in the UK I hadn't actually seen many figures of Thor with the crown on before, so I was really happy to see this one when I did in the entertainer, and I'm really glad that I did decide to get it instead of any other figure which was in there at the time. Okay, so here we have Thor's red cape. Now this is a really nice feature of the figure. It goes all the way down to where his feet are, and as you can see it goes out to one side at the bottom. It's got some really nice creases on it, making it look very accurate and lifelike. It has also been painted with a light red colour. It doesn't actually seem to be removable. I was thinking it would be removable, but it does actually seem as if it has been glued in. To be honest, I am quite glad it isn't removable though, because when I took the cape off one of my Odin figures quite a while back, it never actually managed to get back onto the figure, and at the moment the Odin figure is lying down somewhere without his cape. So I'm glad that this Thor figure does not have a removable cape, because if I did take it off I would either probably not be able to put it back on or lose it very easily. That's it for the cape for now. If we take a close look at his chest armour, we can see that it is really nicely detailed, looks really nice and accurate with all the great detail it has, like the blue and light grey features, and also the light silver spheres, which we saw him wearing in the second Avengers trailer and also in Thor the Mighty Avenger. I don't have any problems with the torso armour. It looks absolutely brilliant, really nicely detailed. I really like the way it's been sculpted. The paintwork is really good as well, especially for a figure of this scale, but the only problem I have with it is the fact that one of the spheres in the top of the screen there on the left has actually got a bit of dark grey paint on it, which really shouldn't be on there. His arms are very nice as well. They're covered in lots of tiny silver bits of armour. We've also got some nice arm guards at the bottom of each of his lower arms. We can also see that his right hand features a small red glove for holding his hammer. The previous version of this figure did actually come with 2 red gloves. The left hand on this particular Thor figure does actually feature a bit of plastic where the red glove was actually painted on the left hand of the previous version of this figure. As you can see, it's not actually painted red on this figure, which is a bit of a shame, but it still looks nice just the way it is. So if we take a look at his legs now, we can see that he is wearing a set of black trousers which are covered in lots of creases, making the figure look even more accurate and lifelike. Also on his knees we can see a couple of dark grey knee guards which have a couple of red features next to them. I think they're little red bits of string. Don't think the trousers need any improvements. They look great just the way they are, and they also look very nice and accurate too. His shoes aren't really anything special, but if we take a look at them up close we can see that they are very nice and glossy, and they have got some bits of detail. So like many of the other Thor figures out there at the moment, this particular figure has some absolutely brilliant detail from head to toe. I think the head sculpt of this figure has a absolutely brilliant likeness of Chris Hemsworth. I really like the helmet as well, even though I do think it should actually be painted with more of a metallic silver colour. The detail of the armour is absolutely incredible for a figure of this scale. It's got some great paintwork as well, and it's all been sculpted really well. That's pretty much it for the detail and paintwork for now. Okay, articulation. His head can do a full 360 degree turn, can only go up and down a little bit though. The arms can do a 360 degree turn at the shoulders, and because they're ball joints they can go outwards as well. They can also bend up at the elbows, but there is no hand articulation sadly. Isn't any waist articulation either, but the legs can still go backwards and forwards on the top, swivel 360 degrees at the top, bend at 2 places in the knees, and also the feet can't actually turn, by the way. So if I was to give some comments about what I thought of the articulation on this figure, I'd say that the articulation on this figure is okay. Sadly, it is missing some joints from the previous version of this figure, like the bicep swivel joints and also the hand swivel joints, but I've still been able to put it into some good poses just by itself and also with its accessories. So I think the articulation is just okay the way it is. Now it's time for me to give a summary of my thoughts and opinions on this figure. So, overall, I think the Sword Spike Thor figure from the concept series of the Avengers movie action figure line is a really nice addition to my Marvel Superheroes figure collection. I think the detail on this figure is absolutely superb, especially on the head sculpt, which has a really good likeness of Chris Hemsworth, and also the really nice helmet or crown. The armour looks absolutely brilliant just the way it is, with all the great detail and paintwork that it has, and all the features of this figure have been sculpted really nicely. I just think this figure could have been a bit better though if the helmet was painted with more of a metallic silver colour to make it a bit more accurate, and I also think this figure could have had a few more points of articulation. So if I was to give the Avengers concept series Sword Spike Thor figure a rating out of 10, I'd say I'd quite happily give it a 9 out of 10. This is a figure I'd highly recommend to anyone that is a fan of the Avengers or just a fan of the Thor the Mighty Avenger movie. As I said before, the detail, paintwork and sculpting of this figure is absolutely brilliant, but I just think the helmet would have been a lot better if it was a metallic silver colour, and I also think that articulation on this figure could have been improved a little bit. So that's pretty much all I have to say for this particular figure of Thor. It's definitely made me look forward to buying some more figures of the God of Thunder later on in the future. But this review is not over yet, because now we're going to take a look at his accessories, starting off with his hammer. So if we take a look at his hammer now, we can see that this is a really nicely detailed accessory that does fit into his hands very nicely. They've got the dark brown handle, which you can see in the middle of the screen there. Also the light grey part at the top, which features quite a few cracks on it, making the hammer look quite old. Overall, I think it is a very good accessory. I'm glad they included it with this figure, because this is actually my first ever figure of the God of Thunder himself. It's just a really great accessory in my opinion. It's got some great detail and brilliant paintwork, and I'm sure many fans of Thor will enjoy posing this figure with this accessory if they get this figure at some point in the future. If I was to give the hammer accessory a rating out of 5, I'd quite happily give it a 5 out of 5. Brilliant accessory, don't think it needs any improvements whatsoever. Now we're going to take a look at his gun or sword. So if we take a look at this accessory now, we can see that in comparison to the figure, it is absolutely huge. It's got some really nice detail on it, like some Asgard writing or symbols just around the top here, and also some along the sides. Also got some nice bits of detail in the middle and towards the back here. It's shaped a lot like some kind of gun, and it also does come with a light brown missile which does fire very far quite easily. As you can see, the missile is absolutely fine. I don't think it needs any improvements. It's just this main accessory really that I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in the missile. So if I was to give this particular accessory a rating out of 5, I'd say I'd quite happily give it a 5 out of 5. It's a very nice accessory. I'm not usually very interested in accessories that come with concept series figures, but I have to admit this is a really nice one, and I'm sure that many young fans of the Avengers will enjoy playing with this if they get this figure in the future. And that is pretty much it for my review of the Avengers Concept Series Sword Spike Thor figure. I hope you've all enjoyed watching this review, and if you would like to share your comments on this figure, please feel free to do so in the comment section below, or maybe in a video response you'd like to make. Thanks for watching, YouTubers, and I shall see you again soon. And if I have any more comments about this figure, I'll put them in YouTube video annotations or in the comment section below. And my next Avengers movie figure review will either be the Mighty Battler's Hulk or the Gamma Strike Hulk.